Hello there. So today we are joined by me, Dr. Jen, and Emilia, my tiny little assistant, and we will be reacting to a video, which is not something that I usually do. However, after many requests to react to a video, this is my first and perhaps maybe only video reaction ever. I am very scared of what we are about to see because I did not get a glimpse of the video at all before doing this. So this is a channel called Estranged Parents, and it's parents. Well, I'm going to read the description, okay? Go from heartbreak to healing so that you can regain the joy in your life again. Parents, you are not alone. We know how devastating it is to be estranged from your adult child, whom you raised with love and good faith, because we have been there. This channel is for you, to help you on your healing journey. And then, of course, there's a newsletter, a program, a community. All of this is paid for. That I saw. I saw the website and all of that. So I can tell you right now, all of it is paid for. I am not personally a fan of channels that are promising to help people, but then hiding everything behind a paywall. So this is just my personal opinion. But yeah, we are going to watch the video that has the most views. In this case, it is this one here. My daughter stopped talking to me, so I let her go. I have heard about this. I have heard that basically this is from the perspective of a parent that was abusive to her daughter and that she is victimizing herself. This is what I have been told. However, I did not watch anything, so I will watch with an open mind. I will give my thoughts on it with an open mind as well. And I don't want to take sides. Of course, I'm a little biased. However, let's just dive into it. I don't want to take more time to introduce or to look at these thumbnails, but let's do it. Let's do it. Okay?
I really thought I could get through this without crying.
27% of American adults have cut contact with a family member, lasting an average 4.5 years.
I never dreamed I'd be part of that statistic. Have you seen this?
Okay. So I'm gonna have to pause right now. I'm gonna do something. And you're all gonna give me a little second here. Okay, I'm gonna do something. Okay, so this is exactly what I was thinking. As we saw, the introduction of the video starts with 27% of adult children stop talking to their parents. Okay, this is how it introduced. Okay, so let's just go back again. 27 of American adults.
Percent of American adults have cut contact with a family member, lasting an average 4.5.
Okay. So 27% of adults have cut contact with a family member. Let's just look at that statistic. You might think that is a shocking statistic, but I have a counter statistic for you, okay? So, and we're going to look at American statistics because this is the one also that has been provided to us by this video, okay? I'm not based in America, but let's just use America as the example, okay? So in America, 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 13 boys are estimated to experience child abuse. Okay? So let's just look at the girls for a second because it's an easier statistic to handle. We are talking about 25% of daughters experience child abuse. This is the statistics we are working with, okay?
Dear parents, I need to speak my truth. All my life, I've been gasping for about what I need to say. I need you to know how your feelings my mental health. It's bad. I have my life ruined because of you.
90% of the letter was about politics and how we couldn't be in her life if we supported that guy. This kind of...
Okay, I'm going to pause right now. So, I'm not going to do political commentary here. Just a disclaimer. What I will say is the video, the behind the scenes video of her showing her husband the email that she just received, just that alone for me is quite telling because it is performative. So it's already leaving a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. The other thing is she read the first sentence, basically, of the letter. And now we have to take her word for it for the rest of the letter. So 90% is talking about politics and political choices. Now, if we try to look very quickly, take a quick glance at the ratio of the letter. So 5% is that first sentence, and the rest is just political. Highly doubted. Highly doubted because she's not reading the full letter. So without being able to read the full letter, we can only make assumptions. We can make assumptions from what the daughter might be saying. We can make assumptions from what the parent might be thinking. Let's keep going.
This kind of angry outburst from her was so out of character, we were shocked. We just didn't know what to do. I mean, I thought I was a good mom. Not perfect, but pretty good. Honestly, I was in denial at this point because I thought this was more a thing between her and my husband, Ted, because I'm not that political at all. So I thought we could still have a relationship. So one day...
Okay, so she has a YouTube channel to talk about the loss of her daughter from her life, and I could empathize. The thing is, she is talking about the fact that her daughter stopped talking to her, and then she is showing very private videos of her daughter as a baby. I think that is quite exposing, and considering that the daughter is not an abuser, from what we've seen here, the daughter simply wants distance. I am not going to comment on if I think whatever, if I think her reason is valid or not. I'm not here to give an opinion on that because a person's reasons are valid to them, and that is her daughter's choice, right? But just the fact that she is exposing these videos of her being a good mom to her daughter, okay?
I responded positively to one of her Facebook posts, like normal, thinking that the letter was just some one-off thing that would blow over. But she unfriended me and followed up with a text that said something like, "You don't get to stay in my life. I'm keeping this number for family emergencies only. Don't contact me." Ted's sister got involved to see if she could help, but Haley immediately unfriended her, which was surprising because the two...
Wow. Okay. So, the acting, wow. Then she just said the name of her daughter, okay? She just said the name of her daughter.
Because the two of them were politically aligned.
Friends offered to step in and say something on our behalf, but after what happened to Ted's sister, we just said no. A couple weeks later, she did not wish me happy birthday for the very first time. This wound was so fresh, I couldn't even say her name when I talked about it. I've even had some people really close to me decide to move on from me. And that's the hardest of all. In November, I texted her that we were going to Montana to see her sister for Thanksgiving and that she was warmly invited, but if we didn't hear back, we'd assume she wasn't interested. Silence. In December, I texted Merry Christmas and told her that we loved her. Silence. So that winter, I emailed her a few times, mostly personal development stuff that I thought she'd be interested in. More silence.
Okay. Her daughter contacted to say that she has been hurt, that she's been gaslit all her life, right? This is what we know until now, right? Her mother emailed her personal development things. And then her wound that really hurt was that it was her birthday, and for the first year ever, she didn't wish her a happy birthday. Okay. So it's very, from what I'm seeing up until now, it's very me. I am not seeing any type of introspection about what she could have done wrong. And that is a little bit concerning to me right now. But let's continue because I don't want to judge the mom just yet. Or the daughter, or the father. So let's continue. I'm just watching as I go and telling you what I'm thinking as I'm watching.
More silence. Around this time, I started watching videos on estrangement to see if I could figure out what was going on.
I did it intermittently because I think I was still in denial, thinking she would just come back in time. And it seemed appropriate to reach out occasionally to let her know I loved her because that's what moms are supposed to do, right? I mean, I tried to maintain contact. She shut that down. The longer this went on, the more real it began to feel, and there was just this cauldron of emotions, horrible emotions, shock.
Okay, just 1 second here. She opened the oven and the whole warm fume went to her face. You know, that is commitment to the video. Because I'm telling you from experience, I have put my head like that on the oven. And, wow, it hurts. Okay. But I appreciate the investment and the dedication to make this B-roll more realistic. However, to me, it's coming off as a little bit performative. As I said in the first 20 seconds of the video, I'm still having that feeling of it feels performative. It feels a little bit performative. I'm not talking about the reasons, if they're valid, if they're not valid, whatever. I'm talking about just from what I'm seeing up until now, it's a little bit performative, in my opinion. But I'm going to try to look at it through the lens of, okay, so it's a parent that genuinely doesn't know why their child stopped talking to them.
And shame, anger, denial, sadness, depression, betrayal. It was so hard to process.
I joined some parental estrangement groups on Facebook to see how other parents were coping, and while it was nice to know that I wasn't alone,
I could not spend too much time there because it was all the same misery that I felt. So horribly sad and depressing. There were just broken hearts everywhere. I could not face all that pain. Sadly, at one point, I had to text her to let her know Grandpa died, Ted's dad. She'd had a good relationship with him.
I was very matter-of-fact about it. He died.
Oh, the images of the grandpa and her, that's just a little bit, that's a lot of exposing. Considering her daughter wants space. It doesn't matter if the reasons are valid or not for the mother. This is exposing the person in a way that is going against their wishes.
He died. There's a memorial. Here's the Zoom link. This was still during COVID. She did attend, to her credit. We were glad to see her there, although we didn't see her there. She didn't have her camera on and she didn't say anything. She was there.
I sent her a text wishing her happy birthday and telling her I loved her. Silence. I was so sad on her birthday. This is a very special day for me too. It's the day I first became a mother.
I guess that's my way of saying I still love you, I still think about you, but I don't want to intrude in your space. And instead of buying her a present for her birthday every year, it's probably going to sound stupid, but I buy myself a present for Haley's birthday every year.
Oh. Wow, this is giving me a little bit of flashbacks. I'm sorry, but my mother used to say that she should also receive a present for my birthday because she's the one that pushed me out. I understand that in some cultures that is a thing and fine, but the way my mother would say it is just everything is about me. Because about her. Everything is about her. Because in her birthday, she didn't give her mother a gift. She wanted a gift. And in fact, she was quite judgmental about the gift that she would receive. So, let's continue.
It's like a consolation prize.
Mother's Day 2021 also passed in silence for the very first time. By now, I had moved from shock and shame into feeling this kind of low-level anger, definitely resentment, and yeah, betrayal.
My husband may have texted her once or twice that summer, but I did not.
On the 1-year anniversary of her angry letter, I emailed my sad letter response. I started off with a story about the time I saved her from choking to death on a candy wrapper when she was a baby,
Which was probably the worst way to start, but I didn't know.
Then I went in.
Okay, so she, you got to give it to her. She followed her instinct, which at this point, it's quite self-centered. And wow, to start off the letter where you open your heart to your daughter after so long without talking to her. You're going to talk about the time where you saved her because you can't help it. You got to make it all about yourself and how you're the greatest thing that ever happened to your daughter's life. Okay, let's go on.
Then I went into the I don't know everything, but I did the best I could reasoning.
Then I went on to calmly address some of the points in her letter.
To give it to her, I'm going to give it to her now and just say, okay, I like this idea of the parent saying, I don't know anything, but I'm doing the best I can, or I've done the best I could. I like the idea in theory, and I think it's ultimately it's true. I mean, parents are humans, and they don't often, I'm an adult too, and often I have no idea what I'm doing. And I understand that. I can empathize with that. And I like that point. So I'm going to give a few points for that we're going to continue.
I apologized for not being the parent she needed, but I also expressed dismay at her level of intolerance,
which I probably shouldn't have done, but I wanted to be honest and basically just wished her the best of everything in life.
My birthday passed in silence once again, which is sad because she was the one who always remembered everybody's birthdays in the family, even my dad's, who she hardly knew.
Around this time, we discovered her TikTok, which I have to confess was strange and difficult to digest because she does a lot of exotic cosplay.
And I couldn't help myself. I binge watched a bunch of them, then combed through all the comments looking for any mention of us.
I was pretty annoyed at being relegated to the status of random internet viewer, but I was glad that I could see her.
So she can't just be... Her daughter wants her to be a random internet viewer. She set that boundary. And as invalid as her mother might think it is, and as overreacting as it might be in the eyes of many people, it is her daughter's choice, and that must be respected. Again.
Here.
In November, my husband and I caught the super nasty Delta version of COVID. It was truly awful for me, but way, way worse for Ted. We're talking hospitals, paramedics. It got so bad, I texted her.
I told her that she should call Daddy-O because he had COVID and he wasn't doing well at all. He was really struggling and it was scary. She did call, which was a miracle.
Well, she did call. That is... Okay, so So the daughter decided to go no contact, from what I've gathered so far. She set that boundary. However, she is responding to the emergency contacts. Okay, so she did not completely block her parents from her life. It didn't get to that extreme until now. Let's see the rest. I don't know what's going to happen, but if you're curious to know my personal take or what I would do if I received a message like that, I would not respond. But I have my reasons, which by now are quite are not a secret. I don't know. I still don't know why the daughter stopped talking to her parents. Only she knows her reasons. Unless we hear that side of the story too. But she did call. So, let's continue.
But apparently she was almost like an automaton, dead inside. I don't know, kind of like a robot. I mean, Ted really appreciated the call. Don't get me wrong. Really appreciated that call. It meant so much to him. But it was also like she wasn't all there. It was very strange.
Ted texted her after he recovered to thank her for calling, but she didn't respond. My dad died on Christmas Day, but I didn't bother to tell Haley because she didn't really know him. He was a sweet guy, but kind of an odd duck living in his own world. But he was my dad, and it was really hard to watch him die.
And the one gift that you get out of that typically is that it makes you realize how short and precious life is. And I'm older. I'm in my 50s. I mean, mortality is right there. When you're a kid, you look at your parents like this big, all-knowing people, and then when you get to be an adult, you realize, oh my God, they're flawed. And there's a breakaway period where you break away and you're like, get away from me. And then usually there's a period where they come back, and hopefully they will at some point. But just in case they don't, they'll have some videos to watch about who was mom and what did she worry about and what did she think about. And I don't know, maybe nobody cares.
So I was grieving for Dad that winter, but also for Haley, who didn't seem to care. I texted her happy birthday and told her that I loved her, which was my only attempt at contact that entire year. Silence.
So of course I had to peek at TikTok.
I read all her birthday comments, and she seemed to have a lot of fans sending her presents. We have been replaced by fans. I ordered Joshua Coleman's book, Rules of Estrangement, scanned a couple of chapters out of order, including the amends letter section,
which I could not stomach because it required far too much contrition. Like, it's all the parents' fault.
So now we're getting somewhere. She does not want to take accountability, and she's being very selective. She appears to be looking for a confirmation bias that it is not her fault. That is where I see another red flag. Perhaps if she bought the book and she was committed to reading the author's perspective, then maybe read the whole book. And even if you don't agree or it doesn't fully apply to you, maybe you will learn something from it. I don't know. This is just my opinion. It's what I would do. It's what I have done in the past when I've had fallouts with people. I try to think about my behaviors and what I might have done to contribute to that fallout. But let's continue.
we had no contact. I threw myself into a new YouTube channel and took a month-long camping trip around the US. After my dad dying and losing Haley, I just needed to get out and start living my own dreams now before it's too late. I brought the Coleman book with me on this adventure, but I didn't read it. I was still low-level bitter and resentful over being ghosted.
I do like that the mom, regardless of what happened, focused on herself and tried to do things to enjoy her life. That is something that I would recommend to anyone that is trying to heal. Again, I'm not trying to take a side here. So yes, I would say that anyone that is trying to heal, focusing on yourself, doing some trips, all that is great coping.
On my birthday, which passed again in silence, I went for a hike.
And 2 years later, she's still not talking to me. Can't make her love me. I can't make her want to talk to me. I can't make her call. I can't make her do anything. So I'm just trying to cope. I never in a million years imagined that I would have a daughter who would just cut me out of her life. We did the best we could. And we poured a lot of love and resources and time and energy. And she rejected me. And it's hard not to hold a grudge.
Admitting that I was angry and holding a grudge was really hard because that's not who I am. I binged on her TikTok again and found some references to us, including a video dedicated to what she'd learned going no contact with her parents. I sat down with Ted and we watched together.
I think the thing that I guess irks me, that whole love with strings attached thing, I don't get that. I don't know where that comes from.
I don't want to be with people like that.
Love is...
They love you for who you are, not for who they want you to be.
She was tactful, but the comments supporting her decision to dump us were really hard to take. We also learned that she's been diagnosed with ADHD and high-functioning autism, which was news to us.
Maybe that explains some of her behavior. We never knew. If we had seen it, we would have taken her to doctors, but we didn't see it. She seemed like a normal kid to us.
She doesn't even care how we feel. She doesn't care if we're struggling with this issue. She doesn't care if we're alive or dead. She doesn't really know. I don't hear any, I'm really sorry. There's nothing there. There's just...
Okay, I'm going to pause here. I'm also not hearing in any point of this video of the parents that they are sorry for anything that they may have done that might have gotten her daughter to reach this point. And another thing is her daughter was diagnosed with ADHD and autism. About that, her mother says that she never noticed, that she thought her daughter was a normal kid. Well, having these diagnoses doesn't make someone not normal. And it's an odd thing to say, saying that you did not notice and that you thought your daughter was normal. But let's go on.
I'm really sorry, there's nothing there. There's just, I had a mental problem, sorry. She didn't care. She doesn't care still.
She's not, what they're not getting, because they're very self-focused here. What they don't understand is that she's not saying that she was diagnosed with these things to justify the estrangement. She is just saying that she was diagnosed with these things, but I don't think she's in any point trying to justify going no contact because she has mental health problems. What I believe she might be trying to say is that she has these mental health problems, perhaps due to the way she was raised by her parents, and so that is why she decided to go no contact. But this might be a little bit biased on my personal experience, so let's keep watching. Maybe we'll have more hints on what is going on.
I'm sorry, Katie, I'm just very upset.
I really thought we did our best.
Throughout this whole ordeal, I've continued my daily meditation practice, and afterwards I usually spend a few minutes reading from some inspirational book. At one point, I was reading about living a compassionate life, and when I got to the chapter on forgiveness, wow.
Lately, I've been thinking about forgiveness. Forgiving her, but forgiveness for myself.
So again, another video showing her daughter. And then talking about forgiveness. So she has to forgive her daughter. Her daughter did not apologize. And I don't think her daughter is sorry. And from what I've seen so far, I don't blame her. But let's continue because I don't want to be too biased in this.
Too. And Ted. But mostly myself. Because you can't help but blame yourself when something like this happens with a child that you raised and poured all your love and energy and everything. You know, we just gave her the best of everything we could.
Letting go of our anger is a way of being compassionate towards ourselves. Anger keeps us stuck in the past, obsessing over what has already happened. Forgiveness does not ignore the harm or justify a person's misdeeds, but it releases the pain and anger connected to them. I debated texting happy birthday, but did not.
Today is my daughter's birthday. She is 29 and she hasn't spoken with us for 2.5 years now. And that has been very difficult to deal with. But I'm learning to accept it because that's all I can do. The last text I sent was happy birthday last year. So she is lost to us now at this point. And this was not something we ever envisioned for our lives. Oh God, I'm going to cry. I thought I was going to make it through this without crying. But I can't. It's like she's dead, but she's not. And I'm grateful that she's not. And I am grateful that she's on social media somewhere. If I feel the need to go see her, I can see her. So, happy birthday, Haley. I wish you all the best in what you're doing. I admire that you're following your dreams and you're doing what you believe is right. And I hope you are loved and surrounded by people who truly love you, not for some persona that you may be online, but for who you truly are as a person. And I know you're a kind soul with a really big heart, with so much love to give. And so I hope you find a place to express that love and find someones who appreciate that love and reflect it back to you. I wish you health and happiness. Just live your best life. Do good in the world. Just know that I still love you, no matter what you say or don't say about me. You can't change that. I will fucking love you forever, like it or not. Because I'm a mom. And moms are like that.
So, in this ending, I would say that she is saying everything that a daughter would want to hear in this situation. The narrative in the ending is a lot different than in the entire video. And if the video had just been those last 2 minutes, I would probably be able to fully empathize with the mother. The thing is, we have the rest of the video, everything that went back. And she did sit down and edit this. The parts where she says the things that I commented on previously, right? Throughout the video. So those things cannot be forgotten. This ending is very wholesome, very heartwarming, very nice, but this other stuff happened. Even after she filmed this nice speech, she filmed that other stuff, and then she put this video together, and she filmed B-roll, and she put the video together, and the whole performative thing of look at the email, and then, you know, selecting the first sentence, talking about the gaslighting, which is interesting. I would love to know more about that. And then just saying that it was a political decision that made her daughter not talk to her parents anymore. I have my doubts about that. I don't think that was the only motivating factor for the daughter, for Haley. Interesting that she talks about her daughter's name. She doesn't mention her own, so we still don't know her name. The mother's name, we still don't know the mother's name. The fact that she's trying to sell courses and all of that, it just doesn't sit right with me personally. And ultimately, what I would say is that, and this is a personal belief and also based on things I've read and research I've read regarding family estrangements and, you know, perspectives of family estrangement. There are studies out there of family estrangement from the perspective of the child and family estrangement from the perspective of the parent, you know, and ultimately the parent is the one that is having the child, and it is the parent's responsibility to love and provide for the child emotionally, physically, everything that is needed. And it is not a transaction. In any point, it is a transaction. And in any point, the child owes the parent love or anything at all, really. And that is a thing that we grew up thinking or being told that we owe something to our parents because they had us. Because they had us and because they did not let us starve. And this was my thought for a very long time, but it is not true. Ultimately, some outliers aside, a child who is loved by their parents does not grow up and pull away from them for no reason. So there are unmet needs. There is emotional neglect there. There is dysfunction in the relationship there. Usually it's a thing that builds up. Even when a relationship ends, even if it's not a parental relationship, a family relationship, a romantic relationship, or a friendship, often the reason why it ended is never just one reason, this one thing that happened. It's the building up of several things over the course of someone's life or over the course of someone's life in that relationship. Actions, words, things that have been insinuated or expressed even without words that build up to the point of absolute collapse. And so we cannot really look at this video and judge the daughter for not talking to the parents anymore, because we cannot just take the parents' word for it. We cannot just point our finger to the parent and say, oh, the parent is so entitled. Yes, the parent seems to be a bit entitled, and there seems to be a lack of awareness of, maybe I did everything I could. Yes, but maybe your everything was not enough. You were not able to meet your child's needs. Now, were your child's needs excessive? Well, it is not very likely. Usually a child's needs don't come from an object that they didn't get. It's more something emotional. It's more of the love, of the respect, of the acceptance, of the protection that wasn't there, Yeah, I think that we have a lot to learn watching these things, but also it's food for thought, regardless of where you stand in this. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. And I hope that it helped you get an outlook. I tried to be as unbiased as I could watching it, because of course there are cases where the children stop talking to the parents and the parents were good parents, There are outliers, but generally speaking, it is very rare that a child will go no contact with a parent if they have no problem with the parent. That doesn't go deep. That isn't a deep wound that has not been healed. So this is my perspective. This is my reaction. And let me know in the comments, what did you think? What do you think? What is your experience? Are you a parent that has stopped talking to their child? Are you a child that stopped talking to their parents? Are you a parent that has a child that stopped talking to them? Or are you a child that has a parent that stopped talking to them? Let me know in the comments. And as long as we keep the discussion respectful, I am open to having a discussion and reading your perspectives. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!